Well, here we are, folks. What many people consider to be the best action movie to ever be released. And to think, this was only McQuarrie's second Mission Impossible film. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strunk from QuickTime Reactions, and we are here, ladies and gentlemen. We are here, like I said in the intro, we are here at what many people consider to be the peak of the Mission Impossible franchise. And yes, welcome back to my Mission Impossible review series, where I'm going to be talking about all 7 of the previous Mission Impossible films before we reach our final reckoning. Or, as I'm calling it in my head, the any stunt you can do, I can do crazier tour for one Tom Cruise. And yes, it is now that time, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about 2018's Mission Impossible Fallout. This is, of course, directed by Christophermcquarrie, who also wrote this movie, and it sees Tom Cruise, vingrhames, simonpegg, Rebecca Ferguson, Sean Harris, and Alecbaldwin, and Michelle Monaghan return to this franchise, with some of our newcomers to the franchise being Vanessa Kirby, Angela Bassett, and Superman himself, Henry Cavill. The story of this is 2 years after the capture of Solomon Lane, who was the villain in the last movie. Some of his rogue syndicates, including one person named John Lark, is trying to assemble 3 orbs of plutonium together to try and construct nuclear weapons to unleash nuclear war onto the Earth. And it is up to Ethan and his IMF team to try and find out who John Lark is and to stop nuclear war from ravaging the world. And will they be able to do it? We're going to find out. So, yes, this is what many people consider to be the peak of the franchise, the best out of the whole lot of films. And, you know, I am one to agree with this. Now, first, I want to talk about the absolutely amazing trailer, because I do remember when this movie was coming out. I was not fully enveloped into like reviewing films as I am now, but 2018 was like when Avengers Infinity War came out, so my appreciation for films was like growing more and more as the years went by. But I remember when that first trailer came out with Imagine Dragons' Friction, and it was such a good trailer. It was probably one of the best trailers ever released, period. Because when you watch that trailer, it gets you hyped for that movie, and it is absolutely insane. But yeah, I am one to agree with that. This is probably the best movie in the franchise. Just starting out, first off, let's just start with the stunts in this movie. Absolutely insane stuff. We have the motorcycle chase through Paris and around the Arc de Triomphe. We have 2 helicopter stuff. One in which Ethan is trying to climb into a helicopter, and we see him fall from a great height and able to catch himself. And then the other, a dogfight with him and Henry Cavill's character, which sees him in a death roll, which Tom Cruise himself was, had to do on his own, which is absolutely insane. All of the hand-to-hand stuff that we see in the film, especially that early bathroom fight with him, Cavill, and a stunt guy who, I'm sorry, I did not grab his name, but props to you for doing that. Absolutely insane. And then, of course, the big one that I think everyone remembers from this film, the Halo jump. Of course, Halo standing for high altitude, low open. They did a real Halo drop in this film, which I think, if I remember correctly, they went from 30,000 feet, and I think they opened their parachute with, it's either less than 5,000 or 2,000 feet to go, which is insane. But I will say, the one nitpick that I will have on this movie is in that Halo jump, they have a storm going on, and it's CG. And I understand why they do that. It's to heighten the tension when Henry Cavill's character Walker gets knocked out in the storm. Like, that is the onus for building the tension in that scene. But I'm of the opinion of, like, just show them doing the jump. Like, the jump itself is cool. Like, we want to see that. And with the storm, like, you still can see it, but not, like, to the degree of, like, if it were, like, clear. So my preference is, like, get rid of the storm so we can see the Halo jump actually go down. But again, that's just one little nitpick from me. Another thing that happened on this movie is, of course, Tom Cruise always likes doing his stunts, but he got injured during the filming of this. It is when he is doing the rooftop chase, trying to get to Henry Cavill's character, who, by the way, Cavill's character is revealed to be John Lark, and he's chasing Lark on these rooftops, and he jumps from one building to the next, and he hits his chest on the edge of that second building. Well, his foot catches the wall, and he immediately breaks his ankle. And of course, the professional that he is, he climbs himself up and he limps out of frame. And, they had to stop production for a little bit so that Cruise can heal up and, recover from his injury. So, yes, Cruise got injured while doing one of his stunts on this film. Another fun fact, Rebecca Ferguson, who plays Ilsa, when they came back to shoot this movie, I believe it was when they had came back, I believe she was pregnant at the time when production resumed. So, of course, she was, like, doing all of her stunts while pregnant, which I cannot believe. Like, that's absolutely insane. But yes, some of our newcomers would again have some cups of coffee. Henry Cavill, of course, having the briefest cup of coffee. He would be in this film and this film alone. Oh, and one last fun fact. This is the film that caused the Justice League movie to have Superman have a CGI lip. Is because Cavill could not shave his mustache for the reshoots for Justice League. He had to keep his mustache because he was filming Fallout, and so that's why Superman in Justice League has a CGI lip. So yeah, of course, Cavill having the briefest cup of coffee in this franchise. We see Alec Baldwin one last time in this franchise, and we get to see the introduction of Angela Bassett's character, who, yes, she is returning in The Final Reckoning. In the trailer showed her off, then yes, she is returning to the franchise. Vanessa Kirby also shows up in this movie and in the next one. Don't know if she is going to appear in Final Reckoning or not, but she also has a bit of a cup of coffee in the franchise as well. And I wanted to state this as like Vanessa Kirby is like one of those people. Is like you can put her into any franchise, and she just fits like a glove. She did it with this franchise. She did it in Hobbs and Shaw. She's going to do it with Fantastic Four First Steps later this year. And it blows my mind how she's able to just slip in to these franchises seamlessly because her and Cruz have an absolutely amazing chemistry with the few scenes that they have. It's absolutely incredible. And the chemistry with the cast at this point is like top tier, especially when it comes to the scene in I'm assuming it's the catacombs, where you have Baldwin, Pegg, Rames, Cruz, Ferguson all down there, and it's absolutely ace. And the dynamic between our basically our four leads, Cruz, Rames, Pegg, and Ferguson, absolutely incredible. And I think that comes down to really good writing, and McQuarrie either A, must have done his homework on this, or B, just has spent so much time around Cruz, like they just understand each other. They are on like the exact same wavelength. It's absolutely insane. Once again, McQuarrie's direction is absolutely top notch. Writing absolutely amazing. Cast again absolutely incredible. Score this time was done by Lorne Balfe, who I believe is the composer going forward in this franchise, because I know that Lorne Balfe did the music for Dead Reckoning Part 1, and so I think he's become like the franchise composer ever since. And I think he does a really good job. I think he brings the score up to obviously where it is now with like the big booming brass, as well as the classic Mission Impossible theme, just made absolutely epic. I think he's brought the score up to like where we have it now, which is, absolutely amazing, iconic, and every time you hear that, it just gets your blood pumping and raring to go. So I think he did a really good job with the music in this movie. Again, action set pieces, absolutely insane. This is just an absolutely amazing movie, and I want to express my thoughts as to why many people think this is probably the best of the franchise. And that is because there's not a lot of like talking or getting to know the characters in like a traditional sense. It's mainly done through action set pieces, and there are a lot of action set pieces in this movie. This movie is literally all gas, no brakes. And I think that is the reason why many people class it as their favorite. Like, as the Wick films continued, it was more about, like, okay, what's going to be the action set pieces in this film? And to me, the action set pieces in the Wick films have just gotten better and better and better and better and better as the franchises go on. And to an extent, that's also what happened in the Mission Impossible franchise, is that the set pieces have just gotten better and better and better and crazier and crazier and crazier as they have gone on. And I think that's what, once an IP has something that, people can hook onto and be like, okay, I'm looking forward to this, I think that's what people expect out of a movie every single time. And I think once we had so much action and so much just really cool in camera stuff in this movie, I think that's what people were mainly expecting going forward. And we'll talk about it, especially with Dead Reckoning later. But, I think that's what people expect out of this franchise now, and not like really good character moments. But, like I said, we'll talk about that when we get to Dead Reckoning at some point. But, yes, this is currently my favorite. It is now Fallout, Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, 3, 1, and 2 as my ranking. But if I had to choose which one I would rewatch by myself, it would probably be Ghost Protocol, because I would want to watch Fallout with a group of people and just get everyone's visceral, raw reaction to watching it. Like, watching Ghost Protocol is fun watching it by yourself in a special, that kind of way. Fallout is meant to be seen with a group of people, to be experienced by everybody. And I think that's what kind of separates Fallout and Ghost Protocol from being my personal favorite. Ghost Protocol so far is still my personal favorite, but Fallout is undeniably the best of the franchise so far. So yeah, that is my review for Mission Impossible Fallout. But we are getting oh so closer to our final reckoning, but we do have a bit of a dead reckoning to get to first. But in the meantime, guys, be safe out there, and you never know, I could be John Lark. You never know. And I will see you guys next time.